My name is Riely Rabbit, and this is the story of how I turned an impossible dream into a powerful reality. Long before I ever wore a badge or solved a case, I was just a small bunny with a heart full of fire, living in a quiet village named Burrowfield. Burrowfield was a peaceful place, blanketed in rolling hills and endless carrot fields. My family had lived there for generations, farming and living simple lives. My parents, kind and practical, taught me the value of hard work. But as much as I loved them, I never truly fit in. While my siblings practiced harvesting and sorting crops, I was fashioning toy badges out of bottle caps, chasing invisible criminals across the orchard. At family dinners, I declare boldly, I want to be a police officer in Zootopia. My uncle would chuckle, and even my parents would exchange uncertain glances. You're a bunny, really? They'd gently remind me. Police work is for stronger animals. But even at that age, I knew my size didn't define me. My dream did. The day I left Burrowfield was both terrifying and exhilarating. My mother packed me muffins, my father handed me an old compass, and my younger siblings waved until the train disappeared behind the hills. I arrived in Zootopia with a backpack, a heart full of hope, and eyes wide with wonder. The city was everything I imagined: loud, colorful, full of life. And yet, as I stood among towering buildings and animals of every shape and size, I'd never felt so small. Still, I marched straight to the police academy and signed up. Training was brutal. I was the only rabbit among rhinos, lions, and elephants. The first day, I could barely complete the obstacle course. I fell behind in every drill, barely passed the written exams. But every night, after everyone else collapsed into their bunks, I trained harder. I memorized the manuals, practiced agility, and built strength through sheer will. One evening, after finally scaling a wall I'd failed at a dozen times, a panther cadet clapped and muttered, "You're tougher than you look, Rabbit." 6 months later, I graduated. Not just scraped by, I was top of the class. My ears twitched with pride as I accepted my badge. My dream had taken its first breath. My first assignment, parking duty. Chief Bogo, the stern, towering buffalo who ran ZPD, handed me a ticket book and said, "Try not to get stepped on." I smiled, saluted, and hit the streets. While other officers were chasing criminals, I was sighting double-parked limos, but I remembered my motto, start small, dream big. Then came the missing predators. One by one, 14 predators vanished without a trace. Fear crept into the city like fog. I begged Chief Bogo for a real case. He relented barely. "You have 48 hours, he growled. "Solve it or hand in your badge." My investigation began with a street hustler named Nick Wild, a sly, smooth-talking fox with a talent for bending rules. At first he mocked me. I was the rookie with too much hope and too little muscle. But as clues mounted and tensions rose, Nick began to see I wasn't like the others. I wasn't here to impress anyone. I was here to make a difference. Together, we followed trails through the icy streets of Tundra Town, questioned suspects in the sweltering rainforest district, and uncovered something chilling. The predators hadn't just gone missing, they'd gone savage. Eyes glowing, instincts raging, attacking anything in sight. It made no sense. The answer came from an old lab tucked beneath a railway station. Inside, we found blue flowers glowing faintly in the dark. Night howlers. A rare plant, once believed to be harmless, now revealed to produce a toxic chemical that caused neurological damage in predators. But who was using them? And why? We dug deeper and found the unlikeless villain of all Assistant Mayor Bellwether. A sheep, meek, intelligent, unassuming. She had orchestrated the entire scheme, using night howlers to make predators go savage, stirring fear across the city, and manipulating prey animals to seize power. When we confronted her, she laughed. "You think anyone will believe a rabbit and a fox?" but I'd recorded every word. With the evidence in hand, we rushed back to ZPD and played the tape for Chief Bogo. Bellwether was arrested. The missing predators were cured and returned to their families. The city began to heal. That day, Zootopia didn't just see me as a rabbit. They saw me as an officer. Nick joined the force. He became the first Fox officer in ZPD history, and I was promoted to detective, leading interspecies cases that brought the city closer together. But just as peace returned, a new threat emerged. A warehouse on the city's outskirts was raided. Chemicals were stolen, an evolved strain of night howler. We traced the source to a panther named Shadow, a former scientist turned extremist who believed predators should rise again through fear. We chased him through tunnels, across train yards, through steam and shadow. In the end, I faced him alone atop a steel beam. He snarled, ready to release the gas into the metro. "Why are you doing this?" I shouted. "Because prey will never stop fearing us unless we give them something to fear," he growled. I stood firm. Fear doesn't build peace. Hope does. Trust does. We already proved that. Nick tackled him just before he hit the trigger. The gas was neutralized. The city was safe again. Weeks later, I returned to Burrowfield. My parents met me at the station with tears in their eyes. Children surrounded me, asking for stories. One little mouse looked up at me and asked, "Can I be a police officer too?" I knelt down and smiled. Of course, anyone can. Now, as I look out over Zootopia from the steps of City Hall, I think of that little bunny who left home with muffins and a dream. I think of every wall I hit, every doubt I faced. I didn't get here because I was the biggest or the strongest. I got here because I refused to stop. So to every dreamer out there, they'll tell you you're too small, too soft, too late. Let them. One day, you'll be standing where you belong. Keep hopping. Keep dreaming. Never stop. I'm Riely Rabbit. And if I can do it, so can you.